Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Farm, thinking right out here in the lab while I do what I do for you. I wrapped up the last lesson, so I got something nice for you to wrap it up with. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. We got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right? Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. I'm on my job. Your job is the right thinkers. Way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. Your goal is to get the know thyself. My mission is that you get it. So I'm here every day to give it to you. Your goal is to tune in and get it and use it to know thyself. I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. I got you. The question, or now, know thyself is what you come here to do. I'm here to do just that for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know, it's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thing to know thyself. And to my heart, be true. I wanted to wrap the lesson up, but it was going a little long, so I had to give another session. This is the last part of it. I'm going to wrap it up for you. Let's go. I'm going to pick up where I left off at. We talk about the survive and Tahuti. Now, if the teachings is given directly and maybe, again, misunderstood or even repudiated altogether due to the what? State of mind of the individual. Again, I tell you about them guys who think they don't know, but think that they do know. Avoid them. I do. That's what we talk about. So the student must be what? Properly willing and initiated into your teachings, right thing of philosophy, and the proper relationship must be established between teacher student. You tune in, you're student. I know what I'm doing. I'm teaching. That's what I do for you. So let's go. A good teacher offers what? Humility, honesty, and beguiling wit. I'm trying to do it with a little panache and cheerfulness. You never see me come on here with attitude. I'm not a negative Nelly. I don't do the pity party. I don't come here war with me and put my no, I ain't got time for that. I'm here to teach, inspire, and motivate. So that's my job, and I'm on my job. So I do it with cheerfulness and an uplifting outlook on life. If my life wasn't good, I can't have a good outlook on anybody else's. Sorry about that. Take that serious. This is symbolized how? By the divine food. Watch this. That Tahuti offered at Haru. Remember, she came down here and went berserk on everybody. Okay? Lost her way, so to speak. Okay? Tahuti fed her. And as the teacher, you do what? You bring divine food. Knowledge. In the form of wisdom teachers, aka right thing of philosophy, which will what? Uplift and enhance the mind by what? Relieving it of the burdens of pain and sorrow, which weighs it down. Why? Because the soul of a human being, due to what? Ignorance and negativity, they go together. If you're ignorant of something, you got a 50-50 shot to be right. And most ignorant people do what feels good to them, do what makes them happy. That ain't always the right thing to do. The divine food, what's that? Is the taste of divine glory, aka blessings. I tell you, if you perform mayat and do what you're supposed to do, I guarantee you, you'll be blessed. It ain't up to me. I don't control none of that, but I can tell you how to get it. That's what they're telling you. And once you do that, once you get your own taste of blessing, if you're halfway smart, you'll start doing those things. Why? To continue to be blessed. It makes a lot of sense to me. That's why we had our young people understanding how God worked. Ooh, that's my point. And what that is, it's just a glimpse. The blessing is just a glimpse of the goal which all disciples must aspire to experience for themselves. What? In its fullness and its glory. I can't get that to you. You have to experience it for yourself. I can tell you how to get it. Then it's up to you. That's why I say I do what I do for you. Because you're going to benefit from the work that you're going to put in that I gave you the structure you want. But however, this fullness is only experienced in degrees. They know a little bit at a time. Why? Because once it starts growing, you want to be ready for it. Most people who have nothing, you go from nothing to everything. Oh, you done missed a whole lot of stuff in between, so you're going to make a bunch of mistakes. They say a fool and money will soon part. A fool and anything will soon part. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to take care of what you got, you're going to lose it. That's in relationship, and money, and business, and life, period. So understand the concept. Please let me move on. I'm getting too talky now. Watch this. But in order for every right thinkers to understand the fullness, it's going to be in degrees. Masonic, 1, 2, 3, master. 4, 5, 6, 7, higher. Okay, red house. That's becoming conscious. That's where you want to be. And watch this. And as the teacher gives you the spiritual teachings when daily, and all you have to do is what? Assimilate them. Practice for yourself. You're the student. I'm giving you instructions. You have to put the work in. I'm not going to grade you every day, but when you know, I could care less about that. How your life going? I can see how you living. Let me know if you practice what I'm teaching you. As a teacher, my students never understood that much too. Why? I know about how you talk, how you act. If you're learning the lessons I'm giving you. Okay, moving on. The student, right thinkers, first of all, you must learn to what? Respect and trust the teacher. Sitting here trying to find fault and try to, that ain't what I do this for. I do this to get you information that you can use. And I'm on point. If that's your choice, you can criticize me all you want. But also, you the student must allow the teacher to penetrate the teachings I give. You must trust and respect it enough so that it will penetrate deeply within what? Your heart. I'm speaking from my heart. I want to speak to your heart. And if you get the message heart to heart, you got the concept. It is only then that what? That the teachings will have a transformative effect. I can't help you help yourself if you don't put the work in. Simple as that. A caterpillar has to become a butterfly. But the work of making it happen is up to each and every caterpillar. We're born ignorant of ourselves. Before we die, we should have gained at least knowledge of ourselves. Moving on. That's the concept, the right thing. That's all. That's just me. Now, in the myth of what the Het Haru story, I told you that. And Tahuti, Het Haru allowed Tahuti what? Words to penetrate her what? Cold and anguished heart. She was a killer. She was cold-blooded. She didn't care. She had no feelings, no compassion. So she was just on a rampage. But Tahuti, Wilder, with his wisdom and knowledge and his little, way he do things. And then what? She began to remember her past glory. Forgetting who you were, meaning you had to have been. So in order to remember, you must have already knew. So if we come here with a forgotten memory, amnesia, they call it, and once it starts to click, it comes back. Watch this. That's what they just said. And the glimpses of it, watch this. Now this is the process of what? Having what they call divine memory. The good parts of your life, wherein she began to what? Regain the remembrance of what? Her true identity. The pain of what's this? Of seeing her current level. When we fall from grace, we look in the mirror and it hurts to see how far the mighty have fallen. But if you was doing the right thing, You don't have to experience that. Okay? If you're doing the right thing, you're transparent. Oh, you ride that till the cows come in. But if you got there by hook or crook, deception and all that stuff that you use to get there, like my man said, that will get you there. BS will get you to the top. Faking it will get you to the top. Pretending will get you to the top. Just won't keep you there. Honesty, trustworthiness, forthright will keep you there. So a lot of people will get there for a while. How they got there? Moving on. Well, yeah, they look at their current level of existence in comparison with what her past glory brought tears to her eyes. When I go back to my old neighborhood, man, oh man, oh man. When I was coming up in the 60s, they had a commercial where the Native American standing there, the one feather hat on the highway. And cars is going by and they throwing out trash. And he just standing there and you just see the tears just running out. Why? Because he had to say, look how far we've fallen. So in time, you get to see change, and some of it you ain't going to like. Okay? But you remember the good times, and the bad times will bring a tear to your eye. Been there, done that too. All right, look at that. Okay, here you go. Now, also, she what? She felt the pain of realizing what? That she was missing out on the boundless divine love of who? Her father. A lot of times, when we go astray, it ain't the parent, it's the child. So the child got to do what they need to do. I'm a parent. I'm not giving. If we got a misunderstanding, I don't give a damn. I don't acquiesce to no child. That's not mine. Sorry, got a little personal there. But watch this. This is common emotional experience of what? Every spiritual aspirant when what? When understanding as to their true predicament begins to dawn on them. What have I done to come down from the heights of divinity to the limited state of human? I tell you, I'm seeing us as spiritual beings. We are too humanized. We're doing a bunch of wrong stuff, and I don't get it. But again, she realized she fall back to her from divinity to human life of a mortal existence. If you ain't living your best life, you just existing as a mortal being. We are spiritual beings. Recognize. Now, how wretched am I? What's that song? Amazing Grace, Save a Rest Like Me. Everybody have had that experience of what? Disappointment, failure, whatever. But that's the time when you got to dig deep. Now you got to see what kind of fight you got in you. Some of us will quit. Some of us just give up. You see them on the streets? Bums, beggars. Yeah, they didn't give up on life a long time ago. They're going to do it now. But they made that decision a long time ago. So remember, living your best life is a what? Full-time job. Daily. So how degraded am I? These are what? The kinds of questions that asked by who? The spiritual aspirants when? Before he or she begins to understand the meaning of my spiritual teaching, right thing philosophy. You have to check yourself. Check yourself first. And watch this. This form of thinking or form of right thinking, what? Leads you to what? Resolution to regain one's true glory and to raise up from what? The degradation of ignorance of thyself and coming to the light of knowledge of self. And may I find a teacher. There you go. If you are in search, find a teacher. I got one. I got a few of them. But you got to, like I said, trust in that teacher. I have never questioned my teacher, and my student never questioned a word I said about anything he asked me about. Who can, watch this, find a teacher? Why? Someone who can guide me on the path of what? Self. If you need somebody to guide you to know you, obviously you don't know it yourself. So you have to have somebody guide you along self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment at once. That's what it's all about. Right thinkers, that's the mission. Thus, watch this, Heru came to respect who? Tahuti, the teacher. She accepted his offerings, his teachings, listened to his teachings, and later what? Trusted him with what? Her life. As one begins to reflect on the teachings, intuitional understanding starts to take over. Opens up, again, the opportunity to what? view the beauty and have the experience of the what? Infinite compassion of the true self. Once you start to go inside yourself, refine yourself, and know yourself, it's a beautiful thing. Unless you're just a bad person. And they don't do that. Why? They don't reflect themselves. They just bad. They're not going to check themselves there and they're going to reflect, so they're going to continue to be that way. Okay? But when you aspire to change and be better, that's what you have to do. And what happens? Then there are what? No more questions, on a keen desire to what? Experience this elevated state of mind more and more. You crave it. Why? I want more. Why? Because it's good to you. And if it's working for you, you should aspire. You should want more. That's what they call it, craving. Any aspirant, a right thinker, might say at this point, I have glimpse of what? I had a glimpse of a wondrous bliss where? Within. It ain't out there. Happens inside. So let me fully discover it and then abide in it. Live it, practice it, perfect it, and then live in it. I'm relishing in it right now because why? It's what I do. And once you understand it, you'll probably do it too, and you'll get the same fulfillment. It ain't no one person deal, one set. No, no, no. It's those who choose to do what I give to you. Learn to be the best self. And watch this. This is the sign of Tahuti. You see the I in both cases? Let's break that down right quick. All right. Now, I said he's the healer. Why? Because above the left, you see, Tahuti is restoring Haru's Ujat. That's the I. All seeing. When Ra took it out and sent it out into the world, that was Haru. That's the story I told you about that. But the I represents God. That's what you see with the I. That means God and I are one. The all-seeing eye. We call it the seeing eye of Haru. Watch this. And again, the Ujat, which is the eye which set egoism, had blinded. If your ego take over, your vision is blinded. You can't see the truth, so you can't see. Tahuti gave him back what? Knowledge and truth, understand, so he can see himself and realize who he is. And that's how you defeat the ego with your higher self, your higher consciousness. And the next one, we did a story about Het Haru. You see her in the cow form, right? But to the right, you got Tahuti, what? Restoring Het Haru's Ujat. Also, same eye, which had become what? Blinded. But hers wasn't due, pretty much the same thing, but hers was due to her own ignorance. Okay? Whereas with Haru, he had a combatant, which is himself again, but Haru had no competition. She just went off on her own. Sometimes that happens. So understand that the power can be used for good or bad, but understand that when you use it for good, you get rewarded. When you use it for bad, you get punished. Understand that. Remember, if you entertain doing what you want to do, remember there's a consequence that comes with that. That's all. And if you want to pay that price, knock yourself out. Let's go. Tahuti is the spiritual preceptor of two important commissioned divinities. You had Het Haru, which is the all-seeing eye of Ra, who did her job, but then went off the rails. Okay? Then you got Haru, who is your higher state. He got caught up emotionally and chopped off his mother's head in a fit of rage, and he let the ego get the best of him. Until you conquer the ego, that's going to be your fate. Constant fetters, self-inflicted. But watch this. He fixes their what? Faulty vision. In essence, he enlightens their intellect in the myth of the divine cow, also known as the story of Het Haru and Tahuti. I gave you that story. And watch this. And the myth of a side resurrection. The picture above to the left is from the latter myth where Tahuti repairs the higher vision of Haru. I gave that lesson about the eye. The 164th, 63 over 64th. The 164th that's missing is that one thread between spiritual and matter. That's the God consciousness. That's the 164th that repaired the eye to give his sight. And watch this. That was damaged by who? Again, Set. We know that. Representing the ego consciousness. Now, in this manner, you, the aspirant, should allow yourself to what? Be enlightened by who? The teacher. Now, in this manner, what? The serpent power becomes effective and powerful. Why? Because it's starting to move. Why? Because you're starting to do the right thing. You're starting to acquiesce and do what you need to do. The next one I got here is, let's talk about the end result of the lesson we get from Tahuti. Resurrection, spiritual enlightenment, and my favorite word, Nehast. Let's wrap that up. Let's wrap this up with this lesson right here. Yep, that should do it. Let's go. Now, what we had down here. When we take into account what? That according to the entire lecture of the ancient Egyptian tradition, it is said to have proceeded from who? Tahuti. And when we realize that we have writings to cover all the subject areas, mentioned by Clement. This was Alexander Clement was trying to bring the religious concept in. I'm going to ride through that. And watch this. It becomes clear that what? We at least have the essence of the teachings of Tahuti. The large book, okay, they're still looking for them supposedly. But if we do not have them in our entirety, nevertheless, the writings continue to be a mystery to what? Most people, because what? Of the unreasonable expectations as for other esoteric manuscripts, there are several chapters of the Per-Im Haru that are classified by the texts themselves as what? The highest mysteries. So why does the search continue for Tahuti's lost books? Why? Because the keys to unlocking the mysteries is unknown to those who are what? Not qualified to understand the mystical language of the myth, and philosophy of the hieroglyphic scripture. It ain't lost. It's lost to those who don't understand. Remember, that ain't the hot stuff in plain sight. There is an important, what's this? Important and overlooked story which what? Contains the key to the whereabouts of what? Tahuti's most important and powerful writings. The solution to the mysteries of nature and the mysteries of God. Ooh. In essence, the goal of all mysticism is to what? Discover the ultimate and absolute questions of life. Ding, ding, ding. You ready? Nehast. And what's that? This is what the Buddhists call enlightenment. The Hindus call moksha, liberation. The Gnostics call resurrection, born again, okay? And what the Hermeticists call, you ready? The supreme wisdom, etc. I can go on and on. Everybody has a name for what we know to be either resurrected, spiritual enlightenment. We had the word Nehast. It all means the same thing. Moksha, resurrection, what else we got? Enlightenment, supreme wisdom. They all saying the same, saying different, but the same thing. You feel me? So let me wrap this up. Now, in Hermetic parable, remember stories, you got Virgin of the World, which is what? Based on the ancient Egyptian epic, the Siren Resurrection. And one story, Asar and Aset never consummated the marriage. So he got killed before they had time to do that. So she was said to be a virgin. That's where the virgin birth comes from. Okay, just want to give another heads up. I like to just give information that I got just laying around, stuff that just information nobody care about. Every now and then I get to sling it out. So that's one of them. Now, in the Hermetic parable called The Virgin in the World, which is based on the story outside resurrection, which you got Haru, now where Haru is taught the wisdom of life, meaning he was initiated into what? The mysteries. By who? His mother. I said, she reveals the secret whereabouts of what? The books of Tahuti and the means by which they will be revealed. See a little play on words in that? They will be revealed. If they're hidden, are they going to be revealed? So let's play on words there. Let me move over here to the end where I'll wrap it up somewhere over here. Okay, yeah. So the idea, lost books. So the question is, where is the highest wisdom to be found, and how can the highest spiritual consciousness be attained? Excellent question. I think I can answer that. I got just enough time. I got 1 page of information. I can hopefully answer that. So let's go. I got a little ways to go for you. Hold on, roll with me. I'm gonna finish this lesson. So let me relax. Thus, watch this. Thus, we are to understand what that Asar and Aset were instructed by Tahuti, who left the earth and presides over the world from heaven. Now, this is the concept. I guess the Christians adopted what God's up in heaven. Okay, trust me. So also what? This means that the hidden teachings is to what? Be found in where? The mysteries, the rites and rituals of the two divinities. You got Asar and Aset. In essence, the mysticism contained where? In the myth and the rituals of these divinities. The secret teachings of Asar are contained where? Again, in the Osirian resurrection myth. They hide in plain sight. The sacred rites of the temple of Asar, his iconograph, and the Pert Imheru text. Watch this. The secret teachings of Aset are contained also in the myth of Aset and Ra. Remember, she got the secret word. She tricked Ra and gave her the information. So watch this. In her scripture, her iconograph, and her sacred rites of the temple of Aset. Now, all of these are what? Available, but the key to understanding them has been what? Missed again. And most seekers and scholars, all of these revelations require what? That the aspirant you go beyond the scripture itself after what? Becoming noble. As a Mason, I teach you how to use, we call speculative masonry. We use the same tool that an operative mason used, compass and square and the common gavel. We use it for what we call a more noble and glorious purpose here for ourselves. Nobility starts within, knowledge and understanding from within. You want to be a nobleman, you supposed to be upright, smart, intelligent, regal. That's nobility. Okay. But when you become a noble, that is what? This is the true definition of noble. This is purified by what? Virtuous living and pious devotion to the divine by studying what? The scriptures and practicing the sacred rites. You just can't, you got to put the work in. Those who do, watch this, those who do not follow the instructions, what? Will never be able to understand the teachings by intellectual pursuit only. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Moving on. Hence, watch this. Virtue and piety are requirements for revelations of what? Your higher mysteries, because why? The revelation occurs not in the scriptures, not in the words itself, nor in the mind, but it is a transcending of what? The physical, mortal, worldly self. You in the physical form. And this is called, you ready? Intuitional wisdom. Meaning you experience that, So the book, watch this, is an instructional manual, a roadmap for the soul's journey to what? Your higher self, God. Only those who what? Who are virtuous, righteous, and who have practiced daily the rights who practice the rights, and they can fully what? Grasp the understanding of the teachings, and when they do, what happens? They are ready to proceed to pierce through the veil of ignorance. When you bring knowledge of self, you're lifting the veil of ignorance. That's why I said to you, no mortal man have ever relieved my veil. Why? A spiritual man have to do it. An enlightened man have to do it. Ordinary man ain't got the wherewithal. He's ignorant. He don't know. Moving on. The first key, I'm wrapping it up now. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you're still going. Sorry about that. But the first key is what? To understand the purpose of the scriptures. They're to inform you. They tell you story, give you information, and they're to lead what? A soul to discover what is true nature. Most seekers and scholars look on the scripture as what? as primitive magic or as unintelligible words whose meaning was known only by its creators. Wrong. This important key, again, the key of mysticism allows us to what? Look at the text in a different way. Why as text, a different way. As texts that reveal what? The nature of self as originating where? In the supreme spirit, the one. How the soul came into being and how it discovers what? Its essential nature through gaining knowledge. Then what? The practice of the regulations of virtue, righteousness are important and followed by what? Formal ritual, practicing the sacred rites. Christians is going to church. Muslims are going to the masjid. These purify what? The heart. But if you just going through the ritual, you need to do more. But ritual is part of it, and that helps purify the heart, going through the scenario, and rendering what? The physical constitution, the watery encasement, subtle, so that as what? To release your soul from its ignorant bondage. Those who remain at an intellectual level, meaning they know, they done read, they understand, but watch this, and do not, they know, but they do not practice the teaching. I tell you, knowing don't mean jack. Once you implement and practice, that's the case. And those who don't practice the teachings of what? Virtue and righteousness and the rituals related to the myths of Asar and Aset, treating the scripture as what? Mere words to be used but not practiced, or treated mythically, seeking to what? Retain still worldly values and desires of the flesh, will what? They will remain at the level of intellectualism and what? Speculation. They can always talk about something, but they don't really know nothing. They got intellect, but that's all it is as far as it goes. They ain't doing nothing, they implementing it. In the famous words of Tahuti, as above, so below. As below, so above. That's from Tahuti. Wrapping it up. So understand this, right thinkers. So far, there have been two paths given to reveal the secrets. Again, lost books. No, just to have revealed the secrets. And watch this other hieroglyphic text. Hidden teaching carved where? In stone. The path of Asar, the mystical identification of who? I am. When Moses asked God, who should I tell him? What did he tell him? There you go. That's what started. Not with Moses, but we go a little further back to that. So we know the name of God was always I am, that I am. And watch this. And the path of Aset, which is mystical wisdom, which is tells you who am I. And then you got the third path that makes the spiritual movement possible. What's that? The revelation of the hidden Amen teachings that was carved in stone is through what? Tahuti himself. Remember that the teachings is hidden, but not qualified seeker, but no qualified seeker should be in what? Ignorance. If you're in search of truth, you should be able to find it. And you should not be in ignorance of anything. Right? Anything you want to know about that, I know. And watch this. The magic and philosophy should feed your soul. Truth always nurtures the soul. Music soothes the savage beast. Trust me. Magic is what? Is the practice, watch this, of what? The holy rites, the rituals, and righteous and virtuous living daily. Philosophy of right thinking, it should be studied by the teachings and of the myths and the texts, which become what? Subtler as you, the aspirant, what? Purify yourself, and you go deeper within yourself to what? Know thyself. And the secret teachings of Tahuti is now what? Contained in the myth of the book of Tahuti, but it's revealed. The sacred rites of the temple of Tahuti, his iconograph, and the text of the myth itself. Watch this. This is the path of wisdom and life force cultivation. Remember that? sexual sublimation, this is still part of that. In essence, serpent power. Again, the serpent power is that force which operates what? In all paths. Here it is highlighted and used to effectively and quickly lead you, the initiate, to what? Higher spiritual realization. Also, the revelation that transcends all scripture and secrets are now known to you. There is no secrets. Knowing thyself means you know all about yourself, and that's the lesson. And again, I appreciate you, right thinkers, imparting and closing. Make all you right thinkers live to be 100, and me 100 minus a day. So I never knew the right thinker like you passed away. I'm out.